الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, today we continue looking at the other two remaining qualities of the Mudajjir community. And as you hopefully remember, last Friday I spoke about the Mudajjir community, known in Arabic as Al-Mudajjanun, and these were the communities that remained behind in Spain or Andalus after the end of the Muslim rule. And there were two qualities that I mentioned last time. And the first one was that they were a community with a strong core values. And the second one was that it was a community that is truthful to its commitments and to business or to any business transactions. So today let's look at the other two. So this Spanish priest says in describing this community, كلهم عامل لا تجد بينهم عاطل. He says that the community of the Mudajjirs, they all work. You will not find someone who is unemployed. You will not find someone who is idle. So again, what we see in this community is a reflection of the values and the teaching of Islam. Islam discourages us to be idle. Islam discourages us to beg. Islam teaches us always not only to be self-sufficient, but to be givers, to be contributors. So this priest is telling us that this community was a community that is working, community that earns, community that does not depend on anyone. Historians mention something about the Mudajjir community. And what they noticed that there was at that time, and this is during the Spanish Inquisition or the Middle Age, when they were pushing out the remaining Muslims and Jews, historians mention that there was some struggle between the clergy and the politicians. The clergy wanted to push the Mudajjir or the Muslims out of the land as soon as possible. But politicians were reluctant. And the historians mentioned the reason for the reluctance was the fact that these mudajjars, the mudajjanun, they were very highly skilled. They were the backbone of the economy. They were craftsmen, they were businessmen, they were farmers. They were basically driving the economy. They were very highly skilled, they were very competent, and when they did their work, they did it with great proficiency. So given that they were in a position to sustain themselves and to put in a position where the society was in need of them, Prophet ﷺ used to discourage his companions from begging or from being dependent. In an authentic hadith, Prophet ﷺ says, لَأَنْ يَحْمِلَ أَحَدَكُمْ حُزْمَةً مِنَ الْحَطَبِ عَلَى ظَهْرِهِ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ أَنْ يَسْأَلَ النَّاسَ أَعْطَوْهُ أَوْ مَنَعُوهُ أَوْ كَمَا قَالَ الرَّسُولُ صلى الله عليه وسلم. So in this hadith, the Prophet is telling us that it's better for a person to go and carry wood in their back and sell it in the market rather than asking people, regardless whether they give him or they deny him. It's better for him that he goes and brings wood and sells it in the market. And when young people come begging to the Prophet ﷺ, he would tell them that zakat, charity, is not for young, able people. And Imam Shafi'i used to say, وَانصَبْ فَإِنَّ لَذِيذَ الْعَيْشِ فِي النَّصَبِ. Work hard. The best sustenance is the one that you earn with your hard labor, with your sweat. So Islam, my dear brothers and sisters, have a very strong work ethics. Teaches us to be people who have skills, people who work, people who depend on themselves. Working is a virtue in Islam. It's reported that once Umar ibn Khattab was told about a man who spends all his time praying in the masjid. And he asked and he said, who provides for him? Who provides him with his food and his sustenance? Well, they told him he has a brother who works and takes care of him. Then Umar said, his brother is better than him. His brother who's working and earning a living is better than the other one who's not working and spending all his time praying in the masjid. So Islamic ethics teaches us to be people who earn, people who work, people who give, rather than being on the other end. So this community of mutajjars, they were not dependent on any handout from anyone. They were not in need of the community that was surrounding them. They were self-sufficient. They were they were in business, they were in trades, they were in every endeavor of life. So my dear brothers and sisters, we as a community, we need to keep this in mind, that we need to be a community that works. Every one of us works. And certainly there are sometimes circumstances that might put us in difficult situation, but as a matter of ethics, everyone should be, or everyone should strive to be a working person, a person who earns income, a person who pays zakat, a person who pays tax, rather than being a person who receives and a person who depends. My dear brothers and sisters, as I mentioned in one of my previous reminders, our country has a generous welfare system. And this system is made up to help those who might not have opportunities or might have difficulty working. And this system should be a last resort for us as Muslims. Every effort should be made to stay away from dependency on welfare. As I said, there are some who their circumstances might force them to depend on government help and assistance. But as a matter of Islamic ethics, dependency is strongly discouraged. Accordingly, we should strive to earn this, to acquire the skills necessary, the education necessary, and explore every avenue possible to be self-reliant, self-sufficient, givers, not takers. And government assistance should be the last resort that we should rely upon. So the community of Mudajjaris were very highly skilled. They were very shrewd businessmen, and accordingly, they were not in need of anyone. They were self-sufficient, they were thriving, and in doing this, they were manifesting the values of Islam, the ethics of Islam, the ethics of hard working, and the ethics of self-sufficiency, and the ethics of self-reliance. The fourth quality, or the fourth characteristics mentioned, or this priest mentioned in describing the community of the Mudajjaris, was that يعطفون على فقرائهم أشد العطف, that they show a great compassion to the poor and to the needy among themselves. So it's very interesting that it is a community that is being described as working hard, a community that you would not find anyone idle. But it's a fact, it's a social fact, that there will always be people who will be in need of help. Either they cannot earn a living because of physical disabilities or because of old age, or what they earn is not sufficient for them. They might have a large family, or the income might be sufficient, is not sufficient. They will need help. So he's saying that this is a community that takes care of its need, a community that shows a great degree of compassion. And in the Quran, my dear brothers and sisters, one of the values that we are consistently taught and reminded of is the value of compassion, the value of sharing, the value of caring. Our beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was told in the Quran, فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Do not oppress the yatim. The yatim is the orphan who doesn't have anyone to look after him. And do not scold the one who asks help. And we are told in Surah Al-Ma'un in the Quran that social bankruptcy and spiritual bankruptcy go hand in hand. People who are spiritually bankrupt tend to be careless about those who are weak and careless about the needs of those who are forgotten and downtrodden. So it's part of our faith and our deen to show compassion to those who are in need. Yes, we are a community that discourages begging. We are a community that avoids in every way and by every means possible dependency. But at the same time, when there are those who need help, those whose circumstances force them into poverty, it is our duty to show care. It's our duty to help. It's not acceptable in an Islamic setting, my dear brothers and sisters, to enjoy everything you have, to enjoy your wealth, and to seek money and never care about those who are suffering. It's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said that a person has not believed in me if he sleeps with a full belly when his neighbor or her neighbor is starving. So my dear brothers and sisters, in conclusion, 4 core values of a community, we see it manifested in the community of the Mudajjars in Andalus, in Spain. And these 4 values are: first, good or core values, good character. No community can thrive without that. Second one, honesty and integrity in business transaction. And that's a very important quality. And the third one, self-reliance, self-sufficiency, and not being dependent or not being a burden on someone else. Fourth one, taking care of the poor and the needy and having a sense of compassion. These qualities, my dear brothers and sisters, are the qualities that make a community a meaningful community, a thriving community, a community that is worth living in. So my reminder to myself and to all of you, let's, as individuals, as families, as members of our community, try to make our community that kind of community, a community that lives up to the standard of Islam, a community that is shining example of what Islam is all about. And it's a community whose goodness is not only limited to itself, but its goodness goes to everyone else and their surrounding. Thank you very much for listening. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.